Good evening, guys. Welcome to tonight's video. So I'm going to talk tonight about something that I find really, really interesting. Basically, because it's to do with psychology. And I love anything to do with psychology and mindset. So I think it's a very underappreciated part of the whole weight loss, healthy eating journey. Whenever people go to lose weight, to be healthier, they're always thinking about what do I eat, what exercise do I do, how much do I eat, how much exercise do I do. And not much attention is paid to sort of the habit development, the behaviour change, the mindset. And the thing is, without this, change becomes very difficult because it's these habits, these behaviours, and this mindset that helps you and sort of drives you to do the what, the exercise, the eating. And, without this psychology and this mindset, it can almost sort of take away from the training and make it harder for you to do it and also cancel it out almost. So I love talking about this. So this is probably going to be about a 2-3 part video because there's a lot I want to cover. And a lot of it I've got from a guy called Dr. Brian Wanzik. And it's a lot of research that he's done. He's a researcher in the field. They've done about 1,100 studies. So I'm going to be talking a bit about those studies, okay? Now, one conclusion that they've come to is basically that it's easier to change your environment to work for you than it is to use willpower, okay? And this is especially important when we're talking about highly palatable foods. So foods that we like to eat. Because basically willpower, mindfulness, they go out of the window when these foods are involved, okay? Now, it's all about the difference between what we call homeostatic and hedonic eating. So basically, one is we eat to survive and to fuel us. The other one is we eat because we like it and we enjoy it, okay? Now, the problem is most of the time we think we're in control when we're actually kind of not. And this is where this hedonic eating comes in, where we eat for pleasure. So a lot of the time this can override our, basically getting enough food just to survive, okay? And we tend to think that we're in control when a lot of the time we're massively influenced by the things that are around us in our environment, okay? And a lot of it is such small things. It's just making little adjustments that work against us and changing them so that they work for us, okay? A very, very simple example would be that they have found that if you use a 12-inch plate instead of a 10-inch plate, you will serve 22% more food. So simple, okay? Just a bigger plate, you serve yourself more food. So simple. Now, a lot of the problem with this is a lot of people are like, but yeah, that probably wouldn't make a difference for me or it wouldn't influence me personally. And that's where sort of the problems come in with this because it seems so small and trivial. One study that they did, basically homes in America. So they went around 230 homes, they took pictures of the homes and they basically found that anywhere in the house, if there were cookies or sort of potato chips, sweets lying around, they found that the woman in the household would weigh an average of 9 pounds more than the woman of a household that there was no sweets or chocolate, etc. on show. Okay, very simple. But then they said, well, maybe this is just because of sweets. So they thought, oh, look at cereal, because, sweets, etc., chocolate, we know that we should limit those, okay? Whereas cereal is probably more innocuous, and they can be healthy. They actually found with the cereal, the average person weighed 21 pounds more, which is even more, obviously. Now, the problem probably arises here that we don't really see a problem with this because it's cereal and it can be good for us. So we probably don't see much of a problem with grabbing a bowl here and there or a handful here and there, okay? Now, obviously this is correlation. And we're not saying that eating cereal causes you to gain weight because obviously that's not true. But what they sort of framed from this, and they almost got a motto from this, which was, if you want to be skinny, you need to do what skinny people do. That's the sort of motto that they got from it, which is essentially saying success leaves clues. And we see this in business, we see this in sport. We say, look to the person that is doing something that you want to aspire to, in this instance, being thin, being skinny, and do what they do, okay? So if your next door neighbour, for example, weighs 8 pounds less than you and they have a fruit bowl out and you have cookies and cake, etc. on the side, maybe it would be a good idea to put a fruit bowl out, okay? Because it'll be a lot easier for you to do that than to be constantly reminding yourself that you should eat more fruit. Because you'll see it and you'll think, I should eat more fruit, okay? Now, the great thing about this is it doesn't just decrease the unhelpful behaviours, it actually increases the helpful behaviours. And they did a sort of an intervention within schools, and they basically went into 20,000 schools because the government basically came to them and said, you know, we just can't get kids to eat salad. We've got all these salad bars at these schools and we just can't get kids to eat salad. Now, the obvious sort of way to do this would be to get rid of chocolate milk, get rid of the cookies, get rid of the burgers, etc. But that probably wouldn't work because kids would probably just eat elsewhere, or they kick up a fuss, or they bring their own food in. So what they sort of said is that most places, homes included, schools, etc., they do have healthy foods. However, we just don't naturally gravitate towards them. We tend to go for the other stuff, okay? But if we make these foods convenient and we make them more sort of attractive, it is actually quite easy to guide people to go towards them, so to go for an apple, for example, rather than a piece of cake. So what they decided, or what they noticed, was that these salad bars, they tended to be pushed out into the background, okay? They tend to be at the back, out the way, you know, gathering a bit of water and steam and going a bit soggy. So what they decided was simply move this salad tray 10 feet and place it right in front of the cash register. So now the kids had to walk around it in order to pay for their food. And in 2 weeks, they found a uptake of salad consumption of 200 to 300% just in 2 weeks, and that stayed there, okay? Now, the amazing thing about this is it didn't cost anything, very simple. What they did was move it 10 feet. And they sort of almost like came to the conclusion that it just shows you how sort of many of our choices are beyond our conscious control. You know, a lot of the time sort of we think we're in control and that we are deciding to eat, you know, or that we eat because we have decided to. When actually, in fact, a lot of the time, it's how our environment is set up and how sort of the things around us we come into contact with, okay? So I'm going to leave this one here because I don't want to go on for too long. Like I said, it's going to be about 2 or 3 part series. So this has just sort of been setting the scene, just showing you a few examples of how easy little changes or little things in your environment can make you eat more food, okay? Next time I'm going to talk about some ways that you can use these little tricks, just like they did in the school, didn't cost anything, just a very simple trick that can always help you to, you know, eat less or eat less food that you shouldn't and eat more food that maybe you should, okay? So if you got some value from this, guys, please feel free to like, comment and share because I always appreciate it. Look out for the next video and I shall see you on there. Thank you very much.